In the middle of 2026, the global weather system began to fracture. Flash floods tore through parched riverbeds, while historically stable regions suddenly faced staggering droughts. The world's leading meteorological agencies, including NOAA, the India Meteorological Department, and Australia's Bureau of Meteorology, all came to the same conclusion: El Niño conditions had officially arrived. This chart shows the probability of El Niño intensity. The data points from previous decades sit low, but for this event, forecasters are tracking a 63% chance that it will escalate into a very strong tier, ranking among the most powerful on record. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres described the event as an urgent climate warning, stating that these conditions will pour fuel on the fire of a warming world. El Niño acts as a global teleconnection engine. It takes a localized temperature shift in the Pacific and uses that energy to override weather systems across the entire planet. To understand how this engine works, look at this map of the equatorial Pacific. In a neutral state, trade winds blow consistently from east to west. These winds act like a physical plow, dragging sun-warmed surface water toward Asia and Australia. As that warm water moves west, cold, nutrient-rich ocean water is pulled up to replace it off the coast of South America. But in early 2026, those trade winds began to falter. The atmospheric current driving that east-to-west plow simply lost its momentum. Without the wind to hold that massive pool of warm water in place, gravity takes over. The heat slowly sloshes back eastward across the ocean basin, blanketing the Pacific. This slow-motion transfer of billions of tons of warm water is the physical trigger. The ocean shifted its weight. The atmosphere is about to react. This vertical profile of the Pacific shows massive reservoirs of heat rising from the depths. At points, these subsurface anomalies reach 6 degrees Celsius above normal. When that intense heat breaches the surface, it forces the air above it to warm and rise. Meteorologists call this ocean-atmosphere coupling. The ocean and the air lock together into a single massive thermal reaction. You can track this reaction through the Southern Oscillation Index, a measurement of atmospheric pressure differences between Tahiti and Darwin. By mid-2026, this index plummeted, signaling a massive atmospheric reorganization over the Pacific. That reorganization acts like a massive roadblock in the sky. The shifting air currents physically force the global jet streams off their standard paths. Once the jet stream is pushed off its axis, the localized heat in the Pacific becomes a global override system, locking in extreme weather patterns around the world. Follow that displaced jet stream east, and the impacts are immediate. The southern United States and western South America are suddenly deluged by heavy rainfall, leading to severe, widespread flooding. Yet, just a few thousand miles away, the effect is entirely different. The altered atmospheric winds create shear forces that tear apart tropical storms, actively suppressing hurricane formation in the Atlantic Ocean. Tracking west to the Indo-Pacific, the system strips moisture from landmasses that rely on it. Vast regions of Australia are pushed into severe, prolonged drought. India faces a similar threat. The shifting winds weaken the critical monsoon season, subjecting the subcontinent to extended dry spells and crushing heat waves. This geographic seesaw, where life-threatening floods and devastating droughts strike different continents at exactly the same time, is the direct mechanical result of that altered jet stream. These localized floods and droughts eventually bleed into global economics. When regional weather patterns fail, massive agricultural yields fail right alongside them. This graph illustrates projections from the World Bank and the Joint Research Center. You can see the global market prices for staple crops like durum wheat and maize shoot sharply higher as supply chains react to the disrupted harvests. That data translates directly into a humanitarian crisis. In vulnerable regions like Central Africa, Venezuela, and Haiti, food insecurity and extreme heat force aid workers into overdrive, triaging the fallout and mass displacement. And this unusually strong event is pouring heat into an atmosphere that is already steadily warming. Climatologists warn that the residual effects could easily push 2027 to become the hottest year in recorded human history. Mapping the mechanics of the El Niño chain reaction provides a vital lead time for global governments. It serves as a predictive tool for humanitarians to brace for the shockwaves before they strike.